The Prime Minister says Te Pāti Māori isn't a serious outfit. The party's Te Taitonga Electorate Executive has launched a petition calling for party president John Tamahere to resign. Tamahere's responded by suggesting MPs Maria Meno Kapakingi and Takuta Ferris are the ones who should step aside. Christopher Luxon says he doesn't give the party a lot of credence.
The Te Pāti Māori that we've seen in the last few years is very different from Te Pāti Māori that National was in coalition with many years ago. This is a party that actually is just purely activist.
The government's planning to remove the requirement for school boards to implement the Treaty of Waitangi. Under a 2020 law change, school boards are required to ensure local curriculum reflects local tikanga Māori and to make instruction available in te reo Māori. Education Minister Erica Stanford says the treaty clause made no difference to raising the achievement of Māori children. She says school boards should not have to interpret and implement a treaty obligation that sits with the Crown. Stanford says her new legislation will still make clear that school boards must seek to achieve equitable outcomes for Māori students. ACC's cutting ties with Water Safety New Zealand. It's ending its long-standing partnership with the drowning prevention group from the end of March, pulling about $1 million a year in funding. ACC says it hasn't seen a measurable reduction in drowning injury claims, which cost around $3 million a year. It says it needs to focus investment on areas where there's greater potential for claim reduction to ensure the scheme's long-term sustainability. ACC says it's committed to preventing harm in and around the water and will continue to support the sector through the Have a Hum campaign. Kiwis are borrowing more and fewer are getting into credit strife. New data from credit bureau service Centrix shows a decline in defaults, liquidations, arrears and consumers behind on payments. Lower interest rates are allowing households and businesses to take on more credit and helping them stay on track with paying it back. But there's still a strong north-south divide. Many consumers are still falling behind across much of the central North Island and the far north. People are being reminded to know the legal limits and their personal limits this Melbourne Cup Day. The 165th racing of the Melbourne Cup is set down for 5 p.m. today. The Department of Internal Affairs says office sweepstakes are allowed, but they can't exceed $500 and all money must be returned to winners. Regulatory Services Manager John Sneed says gambling's a lawful form of entertainment, but it can get out of hand for some people. He says it's really important we have limits on what can be done without appropriate controls.